Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea, the thought that there's so much more to reality than what we can see with our physical eyes. We're going to explore the whole concept of spiritual forces and how, if you understand them, you can go from just letting life happen to you to actually being an active part in shaping your own life.
You know that feeling, right? Like you're just a passenger, watching your life unfold without any real say in it. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if you could actually shift from just reacting to things to proactively creating what comes next? Well, the key to that is understanding where reality really begins. Okay, so here's the big idea. Everything that happens in our physical world, whether it's a blessing, a challenge, even an illness, it all starts in the spiritual realm first. And there's this time gap, a sort of delay, before it shows up here. Now, this is huge because it means the real place to make a difference isn't in the physical world after the fact. It's about engaging with things before they become our reality. But how on earth do you do that?
Well, to even start perceiving this unseen world, we have to sharpen our spiritual senses. You know, there's this beautiful piece of ancient Banyora wisdom that says, just like we have physical eyes and ears, we have spiritual ones too, to see what's really going on and to hear divine guidance. These aren't just things that happen to us. They're senses we have to intentionally train and develop.
So let's say we start to develop these spiritual senses. What do we do with them? How do we use them to actually make a difference? Well, the main tool for influencing that spiritual realm is faith. Faith is what lets us make that critical shift from just reacting to life to becoming truly proactive in shaping our reality.
And this difference is just everything. See, faith is proactive. It comes from a place of authority and peace, and it's about creating reality. Fear, on the other hand, is completely reactive. It's what leads to that feeling of desperation, helplessness, and chaos, because you're just responding to what's already happened. And the key insight here is that God is said to act on our faith, not on our fear or desperation.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? Well, it starts with using your spiritual eyes to see what God has already planned for you. Then, you use your words to speak that reality into existence. It takes a real belief that you can change things, and it means acting with the spiritual authority that comes from God's promises. The whole idea is not to wait for a crisis, but to start exercising this faith right now.
Now, that all sounds great, but let's be real. There is a massive obstacle that gets in the way of faith for so many of us, and that's fear. So how do we get past it? Let's talk about the antidote. This one simple sentence holds the entire key. See, so much of our fear comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of who God is. When we start to see God not as a threatening judge, but as a loving father, well, fear just naturally starts to lose its power over us.
Now, this idea is built on a really specific theological argument. The thinking is that God isn't actively judging humanity anymore, and it happened in 3 stages. First, it started way back with the covenant after Noah, that promise to all of creation. Then, it all came to a head with Christ's sacrifice, which is believed to have soaked up all of God's wrath for all time. And that brought us into the era we're in now, an age of grace, a time of open invitation. And that moment on the cross, it's absolutely pivotal. When Jesus cried out, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" it's described as the one and only moment of disconnection from God in all of eternity. In that instant, he took on the full weight of sin and separation so that we would never have to. The debt was paid, completely.
So you might be wondering, if God isn't punishing sin, then where do all the bad consequences come from? Well, the explanation is that it's like a universal law, like cause and effect. Sin just carries its own consequences. It's kind of a form of self-judgment. From this viewpoint, God hates sin not because he's looking to punish us, but because it hurts and destroys the very creation that he loves so much.
And this really makes the difference crystal clear. True salvation, real transformation, isn't motivated by trying to avoid punishment. That's actually the lowest form of motivation you can have. The highest reasons, the ones that really change us, are love for God and love for other people. I mean, Scripture says even demons believe and tremble out of fear, but that doesn't transform them. Only love can do that.
Okay, so if we're able to move past fear into a relationship built on faith and love, what's the best way to navigate our lives? Well, we're pointed towards something way more powerful and effective than just constantly fighting and struggling.
Just think about this comparison for a second. On one hand, you have King David, a mighty warrior, fought over 60 battles. Yeah, he was a winner, but his entire reign was defined by non-stop war. Then you have his son, Solomon, who, when given the choice, asked God for wisdom above everything else. And what was the result? Peace on all his borders. It's such a powerful picture of how wisdom can achieve what endless fighting never will.
And that's why wisdom is presented as the supreme gift. It's the ultimate GPS for getting through life's messes. And it can bring peace not just to your surroundings, but inside you too. It's seen as an asset that's way more valuable than any amount of money or power.
All of this, everything we've talked about, is leading to the ultimate goal of the spiritual journey, getting to a place of perfect union with God, a state where trust completely replaces fear and peace replaces struggle.
All right, so let's just pull this all together. What does this journey look like? It all starts with awareness, just recognizing that the spiritual world comes before the physical one. The second step is faith, proactively engaging with that spiritual reality. And the final step is union, joining with God in perfect harmony and trust, which is where real peace is found.
And you know, this isn't an all or nothing kind of thing. It's a progression. A little bit of trust might give you some limited protection. As that trust grows, you start to get more guidance. But it's in that state of complete trust, of oneness, that a perfect union is formed, and divine help becomes a sure thing. It's a path of getting deeper and deeper into that connection.
And finally, I just want to leave you with this powerful reminder of your own identity in all this. You are not some passive victim of your circumstances. You are meant to be a light, to shine a light on the truth, to radiate peace, and to show other people a better way in a world that so often runs on panic and fear.
So we end up right back where we started, but with a choice. The power to change your physical reality truly begins with what you choose to see in the spiritual realm. Opening your spiritual eyes unlocks the potential for incredible transformation. And ultimately, that choice is yours.